All right, it's Thursday. Happy April. Happy 420, everybody. You thought your month of 420 would be a lot different, didn't you? Yeah, I know. You said, boy, a whole month of 420. Oh, this should be great. I guess not. Nah, it's still going to be fun. Watch, you'll see. We got big plans for you guys. Big plans. We're going to have a huge 420 sesh all day long. Worldwide. Morning, noon, and night. You can sit home from your couch and get your couch locked from your couch with all your other friends on couches getting couch locked with you. It's a different world, but we'll adapt. So these Legos I picked up today, I'm just freaking out, man. Totally freaking out. This is just, you got to see this. Let me show you this real quick before we start getting serious. You got to see this. Well, this is serious, actually. I just unboxed them. I broke half of them, but there's an amusement park. There's a observatory. There's boats. There's look at this little observatory. Isn't that cute? I'm digging the hot dog truck the best, though. The hot dog truck is amazing. That's a person in a hot dog suit with hot dogs in a hot dog cart. Come on, man. Come on. That is just great. So thank you, Karen Ackerman and Brian Goldberg. I am just covered with Legos here. I can't even do a podcast. There's so many Legos here. It's just, oh man. And yes, this is a Lego. This pot leaf. These pot leaves are like Lego pot leaves. Yeah, just in case you can't see, these are Lego pot leaves. Come on, man. What? Come on, man. Yeah. To Neverland Ranch. Oh, man. Yeah, so this is great. I just picked these up today. I picked up a couple of boxes and a bunch of bags. I have a bunch of bags, too. Here, let me show you something. Yep. You haven't seen all the bags yet. Hold on. Look at this. Hold on. This is my camera. Look at the bags over here. By Bongholio. There's a bunch of bags by Bongholio. Look at that. Look at all the bags by Bongholio. You can't even see them all. There's more. It's just, people are so helpful. So helpful. They love this idea, as do I. And I'm just running with this from Lego Grandma. She sent me this amazing recipe for ramps, and I'm trying to follow it to the T. And I started it. I did start my ramp, but I got to take it apart now. And I got to work on it. I got to take it apart. I broke it already. And I have to glue it. So what I have to do is take it apart and glue it now. So yeah, there's a lot of work to go. And it's going to be fun. You can do these from your home. If you're bored and you have nothing to do, take your Legos and build a Lego wheelchair ramp. You can do it from home. You don't need to go out. It's usually, you may have to measure the step you have to find, but the one I'm doing right now is 7 inches, the step. So not that hard. All right. We are going to call our very VIP guest here. I hope my stuff works. Oh, please work. All right. That's not good. Are we on here? Yes, we're connected. All right. We can do it the hard way if we have to, but I don't want to do it that way. We should be able to hear it. Well, if you can hear me, hold on. Hold on. I got audio issues here as usual. Ugh, hurtful. Hold on. You gotta do it the old-fashioned way. Will, can you hear me? Hey, Will, you're on the air. It's Lefty. How are you, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. This is Will Cunningham. You're running for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. Let's see. Hold on. And you're running against who are you running against in the primary? What's her name? Bridget something?
Yeah, there are a couple of candidates: Bridget, Kellyanne Harrison, and Amy Kennedy for the most part. Yeah.
Oh, Amy Kennedy too. That's right. Oh yeah, I remember her. So yeah, tell me about yourself, Will. How did you get into politics in the first place? Like, what got you? What gave you the bug to want to help people?
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me on, Lefty. I appreciate it. I just kind of always been really involved in organizations that have whose missions has been to sort of to help vulnerable populations. I think having grown up in a single parent household, here in Vineland, I'm down in deep South Jersey. Here in Cumberland County and Porter's County in New Jersey, highest teenage birth rate, and I'm a product of those statistics. But I'm also, I've been able to overcome a lot. Having been homeless in high school and overcome that against an Ivy League school, got my law degree. I've been pretty purpose-driven in helping folks who struggles I know really well because I went through it myself. So that's kind of the heart of my political passion.
Yeah, it seems like most of the candidates were born with silver spoons in your mouth, all except for you. You kind of pulled yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah, but even with that, you shouldn't have to, you shouldn't have to endure that kind of hardship as a child to have opportunities in life. It's and that's why I fight, because I know how hard it was, even for me. So I think people can look at my resume and think, that things were handed and nothing was. I had to work hard for everything, but we got to help folks too. You shouldn't have to, bend over backwards and try to make miracles happen to get ahead.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on in South Jersey? What are some of the issues that you're dealing with in our district, in that district?
Yeah, we, South Jersey has a number of issues. Obviously, everything is pretty focused on public health at the moment, COVID-19. Doing what I can as to be safe, but also recognizing that the community has a lot of needs. There are people who are food insecure. There are people who don't know who won't be able to pay their bills going forward. And so, I've been volunteering at soup kitchens, assisting the homeless. These are the same soup kitchen that I've been volunteering at, the same one I went to for food as a teenager.
Wow.
So it's personal to me.
Wow.
And similar to just the push to legalize cannabis. That's personal as well, because I have family members who have possession charges. Those kind of things have ravaged communities of color. And for me, this isn't I'm not a white woman with a silver spoon. I'm a young black man who's speaking to these communities because I know them well and I know they've been suffering.
Yeah, you support the home grow rights for patients, I guess.
Yeah. I think. Look, we talk about alternative treatment centers and how expensive they can be, and we know it can be a quarter of the price that people can just be able to grow at home. We can't wait longer for politicians and Trenton to get its act together, and we have folks who are dying who need this medicine, right? And beyond that, if it's legal, that kind of just removes all those hurdles. And so absolutely, and especially here in South Jersey, we have a huge veterans population, probably the largest of our geography, probably the largest in the state. I think over 500,000 of our vets are here in South Jersey, and we know veterans use cannabis for medical purposes, much more higher rates than than everyone else. And so this is cross-cutting. This isn't, I mean, it's medical, it's veterans issues, but it's also, you know, racial and economic justice as well.
What I'm going crazy watching is that the governor is allowing booze to be delivered, but cannabis cannot be delivered. And there's lines literally around the dispensaries of people with cancer, people with Crohn's, people that are dying are actually waiting in 5-hour lines at a dispensary to get their medicine. I mean, this is sad.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, like if we're going to consider liquor essential and the dispensaries are essential, then they need to be operating in the same manner. I've seen some of the questions come in. I don't know if you want to wait till the end to address them, but there's some folks who are asking things that I kind of want to. And I think this woman, Jamie Van Scraver, is asking what soup kitchen. I don't know if she's in Vineland or not, but if she is down here in Cumberland County, it's a soup kitchen called Spirit and Truth Ministries here on Landis Avenue. They operate 11. I know they typically need volunteers from 11 to about 12:30 Monday through Friday over on 7th and Landis United Methodist Church. So if you want to volunteer, just shoot me a message. I can get you in contact with the folks so they can see what days you'll be needed. Jamie.
That's great. I love that you do that. Jamie has actually been arrested in Camden 3 times feeding the homeless. They arrested her for doing that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So she wants a safe place to help the homeless, I guess, not get arrested. Like, really?
Yeah. No, I would. Let's make sure she doesn't get arrested for doing what needs to be done.
Yeah. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. It's funny you say that. We're starting a nonprofit, and part of our nonprofit in the West Coast is actually turning a hot dog truck into a homeless feeding truck. We're going to feed the homeless with hot dogs. And the Legos I got today, I'm building Lego wheelchair ramps. Somebody donated Legos to me today, and one of the Legos is a hot dog truck. If you can see that, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's a hot dog truck. So yeah, it's meant to be.
I mean, sometimes we get the universe signals that we're doing exactly what we should be doing, I guess.
Yeah, God's like smacking me upside the head. So yeah, you're doing the right thing. Keep going. So that's great that you have a heart for the homeless and a heart for people that are, we have to put the last first. We have to help. That's part of the meaning of life is to help other people. And it helps me with a lot of, like if I'm sad, if I'm helping somebody else, I'm not sad anymore because I feel better. I'm helping somebody. So it gets me out of my own head when I help other people. It's just a good thing for everybody when you help others.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's at the end of the day, you feel good about yourself and you're doing something good for other people. Right. And, but it's real. Like the hardship and suffering is. I mean, I've seen people that I went to school with, and it's to see the paths our lives have taken in different directions. People that I grew up with are hurting, and folks. So I can only imagine. It's hard to know that's happening, and you can at least do something about it to feel like you're contributing in some way, which is sort of always been the reason I've been in politics. Yeah,
I see that. Yeah, you really pulled yourself up by the bootstraps there. Unlike some of the other people in your district there. I mean, this guy Van Drew, I mean, come on, man. I don't like the term, I don't like using this term, but I use this term for people. It's fake Christian because he hates immigrants. I mean, how do you call yourself a Christian and you hate immigrants and you want to stop the people from coming in and come on, man, that's not Christian at all. Give me a break.
No, and I don't. I mean, I remember when I was working because I worked on Capitol Hill for 6 years, longer than Jeff Van Drew's been there, and I remember when these issues started to come up. We had DACA and protecting children who wanted to identify themselves, and I remember clear as day the folks that were most active in their advocacy and coming down to DC to speak with all of us were nuns and clergy. It was people in the church, and so I feel like if you call yourself a Christian and then you're not compassionate toward immigration, then you're not really the kind of Christian that you really should be. It was really unfortunate. But in terms of Van Drew has. I mean, I don't know if you can trust anything he says or does anymore, right? The unfortunate truth is here in South Jersey, we were aware that he was very conservative for quite some time. And, he had an overwhelming, I ran against him in 2018. So this is my second time running for Congress. And we were aware because he had a terrible voting record in Trenton. Like, he had voted against minimum wage increases and same-sex marriage, and an A rating with the NRA. So those kinds of issues, I ran and I told people before it was popular to do so that he wasn't a real Democrat. And I took heat 2 years ago. That wasn't a popular opinion. I took heat for it, and I turned out to be right.
Oh, boy, that guy's too much.
Yeah. Have you seen? I mean, I don't normally take cheap shots, but anyone who wears suits like he wears. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah, he's a mess. He's a mess on many fronts. Hugh Giordano from the UFCW asks, will you make workers' rights a part of your platform within cannabis and labor peace legislation?
Yeah, for me, we have to be comprehensive about this issue. So, I know right now their approach seems to be, we pass the medical bill and then we'll deal with the, states' rights issues. We kind of need to be more comprehensive in how we're doing with all this because it impacts, when we talk about the economic impact, workers are part of that. And we see it just in the way that, because we don't have federal protections, we're losing investments. People are going overseas, or the startups that we would hope to spur job growth don't even get into the industry because there's too much uncertainty about how long they'll be able to exist without some federal interference, right? And that's why I support, legislation like the States Act. And it's not often typically when people argue the 10th Amendment and states' rights and the federal government can't intrude, it's hyper partisan. Those are issues like, gun control and abortion. And here you have cannabis with the States Act. Cory Gardner in Colorado and Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts coming together and really saying that the 10th Amendment here we're on the same page. We need to make sure states are able to do what they need to do, and that also should include states prioritizing workers' rights. Whether it's the minimum wage requirements, whether it's the ability to unionize. I've always been pro-union because I've seen what happens in households that don't have union membership. My mom, she worked at a factory over in Voorhees, over in Camden County. And, I saw what it looks like in a household to get a quarter raise every year, 50-cent raise every year. She was proud of that. She earned it. But I also saw what it looks like when non-unionized workers work in those kinds of environments and they start to become financially unstable. And so those workers had to give back a quarter a year and then have to give back 50 cents to keep their jobs.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then right. And then I think I must have been in middle school, beginning of high school when it started to happen. Before eventually they just closed the plant, and there was no severance. There's no package. They got a Wawa hoagie and a pat in the back and joined the unemployment line. So a lot of I fight against inequality because I've seen so much of it in my life.
There's a lot to fight out there. You just pick a battle and just go for it. I mean, there's enough out there. It's never ending with these Republicans, especially.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in Wisconsin, Scott Walker when he was governor, and the aggressive posture Republicans have taken against unions. And I think even the way they've been so pro corporations and their stimulus packages, it's like it's never been more clear which party stands. And I know obviously there are some cannabis people out here who probably are, not being cannabis friendly does not make you a Democrat, but I think it's more clear now than ever that Democrats are for the people and Republicans look out for corporations.
It's just history repeating itself over and over again, and
yep.
It's just people don't learn their lessons. I see the Republicans as being part of the military-industrial complex more so than the Democrats. They're warmongers. I just see Trump bringing out the worst of everybody. Trump has just brought out, and I gave Trump a chance for the first. It lasted like 5 days, but I did give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a choice, right? At some point, like, devastated on that night when he won, and then you try to think, okay, maybe this was, the seriousness of the role, he'll like finally grasp it and act accordingly, and that just has not happened in the past 3.5 years. And so, yeah, it's he has to go, and I would like to obviously win my primary on July 7th. The date was just changed by Governor Murphy, and be a driving force to make sure that this ballot referendum passes in New Jersey, but also that we get this man out of the White House, because we're going to need. I think we need new voices. We need diverse faces, and I'm the youngest candidate in this race, but I have the most federal experience. I'm the one who's actually been getting things done in D.C., despite not having the silver spoon born in my mouth. So.
That's right. How do you feel Trump is handling this corona crisis?
Yeah, if folks want to, I'll answer. I wrote an op-ed on this. It was published in the Atlantic City Press last weekend, because it's been inadequate. And the virus is not his fault. I don't think any reasonable person will say the virus is his fault. It's not. But the government's response surely is the fact that they've had, they've been aware of this at least since November, and then in January had some intelligence that, there are already cases in the United States, and then it's just a matter of being a responsible, modeling the office. And you go up to in the Oval Office, you call it a hoax, and now we have 15,000 people dead. You got to own that. He said that, and the American people shouldn't forget it, because that's indicative of his mindset and who he is and how he operates. And he's been inadequate. He's been inadequate. And what bothered me most about all of this, because there was a pandemic response team that was established, and after the Ebola outbreak by President Obama, and Trump didn't necessarily eliminate it. What he did was he folded it into a different program, and it sort of was, in the op-ed we talked about this, but it's almost like getting rid of the fire chief, throwing some firefighters in the police department, and when a fire happens, you send the cops with 2 firefighters in the back seat. That's not gonna work. And so it needed to be its own separate directorate program with a director and chief that did nothing but focus on pandemic response, and we didn't have it when we needed it. That's a simple fact, and it's because he didn't prioritize it. He folded that position in that program. And part of it is because, it was created by Obama. We've seen this president act in such a way where if something was created by his predecessor, it's knee-jerk reaction. It must not be good.
You're fired.
Whether it was the Iranian nuclear deal, whether it was, I've been an investigator on Capitol Hill in the House Oversight Committee, so I can speak with some authority on this. He rolled back student borrower defense rules. That just means when a lot of people have been taking down traditional education paths, going to for-profit schools, some of those online schools. Some of those schools, not all of them are bad, but some of them are straight up fraudulent. And sometimes they collapse, and students are left with worthless degrees and worthless class credits. And Trump appoints Betsy DeVos, who is from that industry, as friends who she hired in her cabinet to protect that industry. And all those rules have been rolled back. You see it with the environmental protection rollback. Right now, Betsy DeVos is sitting on 200,000 borrower defense claims, students who were defrauded and want some relief. And she's basically making them pay that tuition, even though the school doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Shocking.
That's what we're dealing with.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I mean, it was simply because, I think his president prioritizes corporations, but also, Obama created that program, therefore he got rid of it. And that was the same situation with the pandemic response team. It just blew up in his face because we ended up needing it.
Yeah, he got rid of that. He just fired 2 people. A reporter asked him a question the other day, and he says, "Oh, is that guy from the Obama administration? Oh, that's why." And then he fired the guy or something. Like, Like the reporters are asking bad questions, but then Trump is like yelling at the reporters and berating the reporters. And I think he's packing the room because now he can have less reporters. Every reporter has to be 6 feet away. So there's like a third of the reporters we normally have in the press briefings. And it seems like he picks who he wants in there, who's not going to ask him any bad questions, because the questions he's getting are awful, terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he prioritizes his ego first and foremost. So
yeah,
yeah, and and that's what's so what was so troubling about Jeff Van Drew, when he switched parties, he switched parties, and then he also went to the White House and pledged his undying support. Like, he literally, there's video of it. You can hear him saying, "You have my undying support." To a man who behaved like this, and then he had a rally in Wildwood.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. It's been, South Jersey has always been its own unique creature, and he's made it more unique than I could ever would have imagined.
Is Norcross the next one that's going to flip over to the Republican side?
I mean,
he might as well.
No idea.
He might as well at this point.
I mean, I have no idea. Nothing would surprise me anymore.
I'm saying, I don't get it. Did you expect that from Van Drew? Did you see that coming?
No.
Nobody did.
Honestly, I didn't, because even though I called him a Republican, like, I went around South Jersey telling everyone he wasn't a real Democrat. Once he was elected, he did not vote for Nancy Pelosi to be Speaker. Okay, whatever. Moving on. But it seemed he was voting with Democrats for like 90% of the time. So it seemed like, and I was tracking those votes because I wanted to know whether, what he was doing, right? I was working on Capitol Hill while he was, I worked on House Oversight Committee with Elijah Cummings. So when I lost in 2018, Mr. Cummings let me go back to my job. He was my mentor. He's the one who encouraged me to run in the first place, because he also knew Jeff Van Drew wasn't a real Democrat. And I went back, and I was working on the Hill, running my investigations while Jeff was a congressman. So I ran into him in D.C. a couple times. And no one expected it. Even with his record, it just seemed like it was the way he went about it. I think that has left the sour taste in people's mouth, because he wasn't the only. There was one other Democrat who also voted against the impeachment and the impeachment inquiry, but no one even knows that guy's name. He didn't go blast himself on Fox News. He didn't go to the White House and shake the president's hand. But that guy is in Minnesota. But the way Jeff went about it, it just speaks volumes.
There's only 2 Republicans now. You got Jeff Van Drew and Chris Smith. It seems that's it.
Yeah. Chris Smith's seat is going to be interesting. The sister of a friend of mine from college is actually Stephanie Smith is the one running. I think she's the current front runner in that district from the endorsements that I've seen. And she's actually the sister of a friend of mine from college. So it'll be, I'm rooting for whoever that nominee is, whether it's her or one of her challengers. But that's a hard district. It was the only remaining red district for a reason. It's just hard for a Democrat to win that district. But I hope whether it's Stephanie or anyone else, will get it done.
So tell me more about Elijah Cummings. You have pedigree now, because that guy, wow, that's the real deal right there.
Yeah. So I left Texas. I did Teach for America in Texas and Houston. Graduated from law school 2012. And then I worked in the Obama campaign, worked on Cory Booker's campaign when Lautenberg passed away. Then I worked for Cory for 2.5 years in D.C. And at the end of 2016, I decided to leave the senator's office and went over to the House Oversight Committee. I just saw the awesome work that Mr. Cummings was doing. He was a giant in the Democratic Party in the House. She was going up, fighting pharmaceutical companies, the Pharma Bro, holding that guy to task. He was investigating the EpiPen price surging, and I was, having met with pharmaceutical companies, because they're headquartered here in New Jersey. They would come down and meet with Senator Booker's office, as is their right. This is they're headquartered here. I just decided I didn't want to meet with them anymore. I wanted to investigate them. And I was able to do that because Mr. Cummings gave me that opportunity. So, the job changed overnight. I started that job September 2016, thinking that, we'd be doing oversight, making sure the Madam President Clinton, was doing the right thing, not that we had to, not that we were going to be up against the cesspool of this administration. So it's been an interesting 3.5 years, sort of being on the front lines of trying to, hold the line for our democratic principles, our democratic institutions. But Mr. Cummings was, it was as scary to work for him as it was exciting, right? Because he had so much. He's high standards and just someone you want that you want to do well for, and so you have to sort of bring it every day. But you want to because he's worth it. And he was just a tireless champion, whether it was for working families, for vulnerable populations. He and I had a similar upbringing, and that he also grew up in intense poverty and understood what that was like. And he's one of the few people who I know in Capitol Hill interviews all their staffers before he hires them. Which is not an easy task when you have, when you're running a committee. The oversight committee has, over 50 employees, plus his personal office. So he probably had 100 staffers at any given moment on the Hill. And, I remember when I had that last interview with him before I was given the job, he just kind of can look at you and his eyes just pierce right through you, and he like compels you to tell the truth. And he wanted to know why I wanted to work for him and why I was in politics. And I told him the same story that, you and all your viewers now know about, my upbringing and being born to a teenage mom and overcoming homelessness and knowing that, and being an Ivy Leaguer from a working class family. But I know the struggle because I don't have to look that far to see it despite my accomplishments. And so he understood that. And it was a really sad loss for the country.
Yeah. You were actually living in, you were homeless and you were living in hotels. You were living on the street.
We were living in, we were living in a hotel for almost half my high school career.
Wow.
Right on Landis Avenue. It was, just dilapidated, kind of like rats and stuff like that. It was not nice. And I was an insecure teenager. I didn't want anyone to know I was living there. I had friends. I didn't want to, people to judge me. So I didn't tell anyone. The only person who ended up finding out was my guidance counselor, and because she called me down one day because for 4 months, mail that the school was sending to this address was being returned back as undeliverable. And so she called me down and asked me why that was happening, and I told her, and she kept my secret because I had a 4.0. It wasn't a problem, and as long as I maintained that, she didn't tell anyone else. So but I also made it a point. I made it a point I never really wanted to be at that hotel, so I made it a point to join every club you could imagine in high school. I was on the football team. I did choir, mock trial, debate. I had a part-time job at McDonald's. I was like just doing everything I could to not be there unless I had to go to sleep. So
you don't seem like the type that makes excuses. You just seem to, just deal with it and move forward. I love that.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to run a campaign with the pandemic. I've always been a fighter, but you also got to, in this context, you also got to be safe, right? Like people of all ages are dying. Maybe it started out. Everyone thought this was sort of impacted older populations or people with pre-existing conditions, and we're seeing healthy 30-year-olds die. There was a baseball coach in North Jersey that I read about. It was an incredibly sad story. Who went to the ER on a Friday and went home, then took a turn for the worse on Sunday and died on Monday. So, and he was 30 and healthy. He was a baseball coach for a local high school that he, I think, won a state championship for earlier in his life. So it's scary for all ages. But we're doing what we can on the campaign to get the message out.
Yeah, a 13-year-old cannabis hero just died. Her name is Charlotte Figge. The strain Charlotte's Web was named after her, and she just passed away Monday.
Oh man, that's super sad.
13. I mean, hurtful. Speaking of the campaign, this is a new thing for everybody. So this is new for you. You're all on square one now because it's all about social media. It's all about technology now, getting your name out there in the campaign. It's all about electronics. So you may have a leg up on all these guys because you're younger and you have all this technology at your whims here. You can do whatever you want. So how are you gonna campaign this year through social media? I mean, I see what you're doing now, but how are you going to campaign? How do you do this?
Yeah, we're going to have to, get really smart about, relational campaigning. There are folks who, there are apps, political apps that we're going to, we hope to use to really get our volunteers and families involved. We're going to continue to do virtual town halls as we did one last week about the stimulus package. I had, a friend of mine and a former colleague from DC. One was the former legislative director for Elijah Cummings. Another was a former White House policy advisor for Obama. Had them come on, and it was, I'm in this to help people with the problems they're having, right? And so what we were able to do in real time on that virtual town hall was answer questions people had about their benefits, whether it's unemployment, sick leave, you name it, and give people answers. And we wanted, these are really complicated legislative bills, and we want to break it down for people but what we don't want to happen is people to fall through the cracks and not get what they're entitled to. So we're going to keep doing those kinds of town halls. It's, for me personally, like I'm an extrovert. I think it's hard to be in politics without being a people person. Thankfully, it doesn't make it that much easier. It just makes it slightly more easy. But it's hard. I got in this because I want to meet people where they are. I want to see them in their community. I want to have those conversations on their doorstep. When I ran in 2018, I knocked on, close to 2,000 doors by myself.
Wow. And
that's unfortunately not going to be possible. But the election was pushed back, and so we got to keep hope alive that we can have a ground game. But if we can't, we're going to continue to be creative and making sure people understand what's at stake in this election.
You can't shake hands. You can't kiss babies. What's left?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe hand out hot dogs, Lefty.
There you go. 6 foot hot dogs. You can have a 6 foot hot dog 6 feet away.
Look, if the president can throw paper towels, I can throw hot dogs.
Oh, that was so rude in Puerto Rico. That was just rude.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time where we really should have seen. I've been seeing these memes that people have been putting up, about his behavior recently, and like, this is why we cried when he was elected. And I was like, yeah, but there were moments like that where it was obvious that he was not someone who was prepared and adequate to deal with a crisis, and we saw it in Puerto Rico, and we're seeing it again now.
He makes fun of disabled people, has no respect for women. It just goes on and on with this guy. And the fact that he has money, it's pays everybody off.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Joe Biden can get this done. Since Bernie dropped out yesterday, it's on Joe. We got to get it done.
Okay, so how do you feel about that? Because I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden. I grew up with him as, in the 80s. I saw how he treated I used to do raves back in the day, big parties, and he passed the Rave Act. And I remember we were all living in fear having these parties because, Joe Biden was going to come around now. Like, really? He's come around on that issue, but I don't know. How do I wrap my head around Joe Biden? I'm having a hard time with that. Help me.
I think we got into this situation where we thought, I do not see this election as lesser of two evils. I don't find Joe Biden to be that evil. I think it takes a special man to sort of, put his ego to the side and serve the first black president the way he did. I think that's just real. I think, that's just something that, I think on a lot of levels, like he learned a lot from Obama. I'm sure Obama learned a lot from him. There's a reason that, he never really lost the support of black voters. It's because of his relationship, and I think his his closeness to the first black president, and the black community, held that to heart. I think, I do think he's a vast improvement over what we're currently seeing. I think if he sticks to the policies of the Obama administration and does not go backwards, and I think that's just getting us back on track, right? I think that at this point we're needed more than anything else. Although, and don't get me wrong, I didn't get into politics because I believe that the status quo is what we need, right? But we're so far from where we should be that I see this as a step in the right direction. And I see folks like, AOC and myself and, other young Democrats, progressives who are going to sort of carry that fight on behalf of Senator Sanders, unless he finds a way to stay 82 forever and runs the president again. That his legacy will be the next generation of fighters who push for his policies.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind Biden under Obama because he really didn't, he just kind of did what he had to do and it wasn't like in the forefront. But, well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't like Trump. This guy Trump, he's got to go. Problem is I'm a libertarian, so my guy's not going to win. My guy has a boot on his head. He's not going to win.
It's so funny. I remember when Gary, I haven't gone to UT, UT law. There happened. 2/3 of the law school had to be from Texas, and there was like a really large population of libertarians in law school. I always found it interesting that they were some of their views. The social issue views were always really interesting. They were probably more aggressive than most Democrats, but for totally different reasons. Yeah.
My libertarian friends kind of, I don't agree with them on everything either. So yeah, what am I going to do? Where's my questions here? I had a bunch of questions for you here. I wanted to talk to you about a few things. Federally rescheduling. Do you think they're going to federally reschedule cannabis? Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, I mean, we saw, in this past November, the House Judiciary Committee, did vote on the Moores Act, to deschedule it and to expunge records of anyone who had possession or any other cannabis-related charges. And I think that's huge, right? It was sort of monumental in that it was the first bill of its kind to pass through a committee. And so I think we're on the right track. I know, I don't know the next steps of sort of I hope how the full House takes that vote up. But we know things are dead on arrival in the Senate. And so, making sure, Democrats take back the Senate is just as important as taking back the White House, honestly, to really get some of these cannabis priorities through. So many things that have already passed the House, whether it was the Safe Banking Act, some of these veterans-related bills, they're just running into a stone wall named Mitch McConnell. And so that has to be a priority.
Yeah, it's going to be a different world, I think. Voting, having meetings, council meetings. I went to a virtual council meeting the other day in Lakewood. Lakewood had a council meeting, and
Lakewood abiding by the law now.
I saw they had a council meeting. I'm like, oh, I want to go. I was like, no, it was virtual. I'm like, okay. But
well, I'm glad they're not meeting in person. That's good.
Well, the problem I have is how do the public comment in these meetings? They'll take emails, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, it should. I mean, these local councils, there are programs that exist if they invest in them. It's easy to sort of get a call in line to monitor questions and take them live. I mean, yeah, you might have to have someone in your office be trained to do it, but it's possible. So if people are seeing their local councils aren't sort of technologically savvy or sort of adopting to the times, I would encourage you to press them to do so. Those programs exist, and they should be encouraging civil engagement.
Yeah, that's important. We need public comment. I noticed some councils limit your public comments to 2 minutes. Some have no limit. So it varies. And we need all the time we can get to redress our government. They actually canceled all my permits for this month at the State House. So I'm not allowed to protest at the State House this month, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What, they canceled the permit?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
that kind of stuff. I was looking forward to coming back on the show once you were, outside.
Yeah. So what happens if I show up with a sign by myself? I wonder what's going to happen to me.
Something tells me you're gonna find a way to.
No, we
get it done.
We're gonna get it done. Okay. Bill says that Biden is not a pro-cannabis, but he is our candidate. Yeah, he's not. He actually walked a few things back this year on cannabis. He did walk a few things back. He says that he wants more research. I saw that. So yeah, he's going to have to come to the center or the left a little bit on that one. And
especially because the House is already getting there. Like, some of these, if these things start to move during his presidency, if we get a Democratic House and Democratic Senate, and these bills get where they need to be, he's going to have to fall in line. The president's going to have to fall in line. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
Why don't you? How come President Obama didn't have any effect on the cannabis legalization or anything? He made no cannabis legalization or any legislation at all. Why do you think that was?
I mean, I wish I had the answer to that.
I was surprised.
I don't know, actually.
I was surprised because he was very liberal in Chicago, very progressive, and when he got into the federal government, he seemed to go more to the center and to the right, or more to the center. And he did a lot of good things, but a lot of the things about cannabis were just not addressed. And I'm just, it's like the same old thing. I just hope we don't see the same old thing from Joe Biden. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I feel like there's been a lot more over the most recent handful of years. Cannabis become a much more racial justice, social justice issue. I don't quite the activism and sort of the activity. I've seen more in the past handful of years than sort of the beginning of Obama's administration. And so I think as long as advocates and people who are, for sensible policies continue to be vocal and, fight these fights across the country and in New Jersey, it's going to come to a head, right? It's going to be, the same way gay marriage did. It started, I see some parallels here in sort of a handful of states sort of taking the mantle and having those battles, and some by referendum, some by state legislatures. No one really knowing whether the country itself would recognize this nationally ever, or whether these were valid, if you cross state lines, with your marriage license. And so I see some parallels here. And, once I think by that point, by the time the Supreme Court ruled in favor of gay marriage, I think there was 30 something states that legalized it. I don't think cannabis has to wait for 30 states, but I do think, the more. Right now there are 11. I think if we can double that becomes sort of a critical mass, or at least half the states, 25. That's it's just the kind of battle. Making New Jersey the next in line and is a priority.
Obama won your district twice, and then the last election, Trump won your district. How do we get people out to vote so that we get you in that office?
Well, I think we have to make sure that we have candidates that reflect the community, and I don't even mean just racially. I mean experience. Some of the poorest counties in South Jersey and New Jersey are in South Jersey. You know, and when I say I care, when I say I know what you're going through, it means something different than when Bridget or Amy or Jeff Andrews says it.
Right. You mean it. You've been there.
Yeah. In a way they have never. And so for me, it's about really being able to touch people and having them know that you are really one of them. I think we saw this in Obama did that, which is why, you know, a black man did win this district twice. And then we saw, you know, and this wasn't even just South Jersey, it was across the country. We saw Trump take advantage of, you know, anger and economic frustration about being left behind. And he honestly, he used it to his advantage and had people vote against their interests. Because I don't believe the people who were suffering are doing all that much better. You know, that tax plan didn't necessarily help them. You know, the stimulus check that they're about to get, you know, could have been a lot higher if we had a higher minimum wage. Like if you take that $1,200, right? The Democrats wanted $2,000, and they wanted it to be recurring. The Republicans wouldn't hear it. But if you take that $1,200 and try to figure out how they got to that number, they did that because the national minimum wage is $7.25, and if you times that by 40, and then times that by the number of weeks in a month, you get 1,160. So basically, everyone that $1,200 is a minimum wage paycheck or a monthly salary or minimum wage paycheck is what you're getting. That's because we have had no action on actual minimum wage increases matched federally. So that was kind of the baseline that they're giving. They want the smallest figure possible. But in terms of, you know, making sure a Democrat takes a seat, you know, what was interesting about Jeff's race in 2018 when he was still a Democrat, he barely won. And it was shocking because he went around, and the DC Democratic machine backed him, the New Jersey political machine backed him, and he went around our district saying that he was the safest choice because he was a conservative Democrat, and called our district a very conservative district. It's moderate. I don't think it's conservative. And he ran against a white nationalist. And on the Republican side, Seth Grossman, even the Republican National Committee, the Republican Party wouldn't support his candidacy because tape surfaced of him saying white nationalist things, white supremacist things. And
wow.
Jeff only won 53% to 47%. And it's not because 47% of South Jersey is white nationalists. It's because progressives stayed at home. It's because real Democrats who wanted a real Democrat knew Jeff wasn't one of them and didn't vote at all. That's why that margin was as close as it was. You bring people out when they can believe in their candidate actually stands for what their party's supposed to represent. And Jeff never did that.
We got to get people out to vote. We got to get people to your website, willforsouthjersey.com. That's will for FOR southjersey.com. It's all spelled out. willforsouthjersey.com. We need to get some traffic. Yeah.
Yeah, you can make a donation of any figure, $5. If you were willing to buy me a cup of coffee, then donate the $5 that would have cost. You know, something of that nature. Or you can sign up for our listserv. If you would like to help out and volunteer, let us know. You know, we're phone banking. We're getting the word out and to use all the help we can get. And also, not everyone in my race is where I am on cannabis issues, and so it matters. The person that wins this primary in July should be solidly behind legalizing cannabis, especially because the referendum matters as much as it does, and we can't have anyone who's not fully behind it. And Amy Kennedy is not. I don't go around naming names, but it's just a fact that she's not where she needs to be.
What's her position on cannabis?
You know, she is a mental health advocate, and so, you know, while I respect her advocacy in that space, she does come across as a little prohibitionist. I think she is really aligned with SMART. That they're against marijuana, and
Yeah.
I think she's not. Yeah, so that's kind of where she is.
Yeah, SMART. I forget what SMART stands for. I know RAMP is out there. There's a couple of them, but SMART is one of them. And yeah, oh boy. But the problem is a lot of the psychologists are against it because they think it's a gateway drug, because they see the 10% of us that are have issues, have mental health issues, and a lot of them self-medicate with cannabis. So they're seeing 100% of 100% of the people they're seeing are the 10% of the people that, you know, of society that are mentally challenged or mentally ill. So they're seeing so many of those people, but it's only a small segment of our society that they're seeing. But they're seeing so many of them that they think that everyone years for 10 years, and I use cannabis to get myself off opiates, and many people in our group have done the same thing. Oh, here we go. SMART. SMART is a
smart approaches to marijuana.
Yeah, I see it. Got it. Yeah, I've seen that one. Okay. But yeah, it was very helpful to me, cannabis. And when they say gateway drug, I say exit drug. It's very, you know, I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if we want to get into that argument, I feel like alcohol is much more of a gateway to some social ills than cannabis. To be quite frank with you, you know, even looking at even if you look at Colorado's, you know, the number of their DUIs has gone down since legalizing cannabis. You know, people who smoke weed typically are just going to stay at home. They're not going to go behind the wheel of a car and sort of drive, you know, to or from a bar for the most part. So, you know, there's too much at stake, and there's too much harm that's been done to communities that need to be repaired like this. And we need to be incentivizing, our federal government needs to be incentivizing programs to lift up these communities that have been the most harmed. You know, I think we've seen even in Portland, Oregon, they've done grants to entrepreneurs of color that lift up those communities because they were and continue to be disproportionately enforced on the drug war. And so, you know, I think I'm the kind of candidate who, if we're going to legalize it, I want to go as far as, you know, really making this social economic stimulator for those communities, Black and brown people who need it because they've been the most negatively impacted by this war on drugs.
Absolutely. I believe the group might be called SAM. Is it called SAM, not SMART?
SAM, yeah.
SAM, yeah. We've dealt with them. Yeah, we actually got a few people fired from those groups because they mess with the wrong patients. Don't do that. Don't mess with New Jersey patients. We'll fight back.
Yep.
We got people in wheelchairs that are suffering, that are dying. They're not going to take crap from anybody. They're really not. And we've had enough. We're suffering. We have cancer. We have MS. We have all these horrible diseases. We live in New Jersey, so we basically live in a red dot with vinyl chloride, mercury, lead, chromium. Our waterways are poisoned. Everything's poisoned around here. And what can we do about the environmental impact that these corporations are having on our society? Even in Paulsboro, look at Paulsboro. Paulsboro is one of the most polluted areas in New Jersey, and I didn't even realize that till I saw it on a pie chart. I was shocked.
Yeah, I mean that's wild, and you know, I think we've seen the environmental rollbacks to this administration not prioritizing our environment. You know, especially here in South Jersey, you know, our coastal communities are at stake.
Yes.
If we don't take drastic action, and so that's also something else I've been really active on. And in 2 weeks, we're actually having another virtual conversation about, you know, our coastlines here in South Jersey and climate change. You know, we're reading a book called "The Drowning of Money Island," written by a South Jersey native that details, you know, the devastation of Hurricane Sandy, and sort of, you know, the federal response to that and what can be done sort of going forward, because we know there's going to be more devastation and there's damage. I think I just saw a figure the other day that the country has passed $1 billion in beach restoration. Just the numbers of, maybe it was 1 trillion. I have to look again. But there are programs that exist and we have to fund them. You know, the Army Corps of Engineers has a program right now that will cost $10 billion to take care of a lot of the, for preventative measures to save our coastline here in South Jersey. And it starts to pay for itself after 7 years because we know we're paying $1.7 billion for to preserve our coastline every year. When these, you know, that $10 billion investment, if we just get ahead of it, we can save tens of billions of dollars. Unfortunately, it always seems to take a crisis in this country for real action to occur, which is, you know, just a sad truth. And, you know, I think for people who like myself, who support progressive policies, and then you see what's happening now, it's, you know, all these things that we were always told were too drastic or too revolutionary. Suddenly we're able to do it because our backs are against the wall and we don't have a choice. But they were always the right things to do, and they're still the right thing to do. And I hope, you know, whether it's universal basic income or expanded health care or expanded unemployment benefits, really shoring up that social safety net, you know, I hope we maintain those when this is all over because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, well, what was the name of that book again? The Drowning of Monday Island?
The Drowning of Money Island by Andrew Lewis.
Interesting. So you'll be reading that book and doing like a discussion group about that. That's
yeah. It's kind of like a book club that we're doing in the campaign. But it's not, reading the book is not mandatory. You know, obviously the last thing we want to do is force people to buy a $20 book when times are tough. But you know, look it up if you can find it at your local library. If you can somehow read it online, join our conversation. I mean, the book will just be a starting point. It's going to be a broad conversation about climate change in our coastlines. But the book is the context we'll be discussing those issues in.
Well, we got a question from Hugh Giordano from the UFCW Union Local 152. He says, will you invest in hemp technology production in the way of manufacturing paper, plastics, and energy, all that is eco-friendly?
Yeah, I would need to. I mean, on the face of it, that seems like a fine issue. I would definitely want to read more about it. It sounds like you're saying this is a much more eco-friendly manufacturing process, and if it is, I can't really see why I'd be against it. But I want to be able to give you like a full-hearted yes after reading and learning, doing my own research. But yeah, if there is. Hugh, I see your question right here. If there is an article that you just want to link under your question or reply to your question, and I'll make sure I read it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we do have the right to grow hemp in New Jersey. I don't know how much a license is, but we do have the legal right to grow hemp in New Jersey as of right now.
Yeah, and hemp is really bipartisan, and it's funny. I talked to a hemp unknowingly. Talked to a hemp lobbyist in DC like for a couple hours back in this must have been back in September or October because he is a hemp lobbyist but also does wedding photography and so I was a groomsman in a friend's wedding in DC and their photographer was this guy, and I was with the couple that was getting married as they sort of did their engagement photos around DC. I was like the court jester making sure they were laughing throughout the pictures or something. And the photographer ended up being a hemp lobbyist, just randomly enough. And so I did talk to him about that. And he's a Republican, and he had been, you know, talking to a number of Republicans who were on board with the hemp industry. And so I think that's from what I've, you know, I'll talk to him again, but it did seem like federally it's becoming less and less controversial, and it's really bipartisan. Yeah,
it is becoming more bipartisan, which is a great thing. It has to. It's a good barometer. It's one of my questions for people when I ask a question about, you know, their politics. How do you feel about cannabis? And if they're a prohibitionist, usually it's like, you know, they're probably bad on a lot of issues if they're bad on cannabis.
Yeah, I mean, because I think to be pro cannabis is I think it just signals that you see things in a nuanced way, right? Because There is no blanket. There's no reason to be a blanket prohibitionist on this issue, unless you just refuse to sort of see that there are pockets of populations that need this and will benefit from it. For some reason I remember I'd have to do further research. I remember the Kentucky delegation because I remember this. I'm trying like remembering bits and pieces of my conversation with that hemp industry guy, and he was having really favorable conversations with people from Kentucky, like Republicans from Kentucky. I guess I'm not sure if the farming down there is more ripe for, or there's, but it did seem like there are some states that were much more further along on this issue than others.
A question from Jerry. Jerry says the regulations around cannabis businesses in New Jersey are killing the industry. Will you support rolling back the regulations? I don't know what regulations he's talking about, though.
Yeah, no, but I mean, generally, I kind of understand the question. I mean, I don't know if Jerry was on the call earlier, but we've seen what could be a job growth industry that stimulates the economy and brings jobs back. We've seen it sort of be hamstrung by regulation. As I mentioned earlier, startups don't have a lot of certainty about their investments, and so they won't even get in. You see some companies who would like to go into business in the U.S., taking their business overseas instead, so they don't lose their investments. And so, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot if we don't really get this right. We're losing our, and not just that, but I think I saw a stat the other day that every day 94 people are arrested for cannabis possession, cannabis related charges. Like that's almost 100 people a day for something that should be legal. And that's taxpayer money, court filing fees and court appearances and incarceration. It just isn't a smart approach to how our criminal justice system should work. So in a number of ways, we need to scale back significantly.
I would love to become a lobbyist. How do I go about becoming a lobbyist, like a hemp lobbyist? I like that job.
I mean, I get contact the association, I guess.
I think I'm kind of a lobbyist already, but I don't know. I just don't wear a suit and tie a lot. But I'm in Trenton all the time.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you're just. I mean, just a simple fact that you're doing this podcast is. I mean, you're an advocate, advancing your cause. Just not wearing a suit to do it. Yeah,
it's great because I'm sitting in Trenton, and the people that walk by are amazing. I get lobbyists, politicians, homeless people. It's an amazing diverse group of people, and it's amazing the conversations we've had on State Street there with this group of people that's out there. It's just amazing to me. And Bill Caruso is one of the advocates, the lobbyists I talk to. He's really good, very informative. Do you know Bill Caruso?
I do not.
Yeah, he's really good, from Archer Law, and he gives us a lot of inside information that we wouldn't normally have, which is great. Which lobbyists do. He spends the whole day in Trenton and just talks to people. That's his job. He's an outgoing person and just talks to people all day long. It's amazing what these activists do all day in Trenton. It's like lobbyists.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely part of the job. If you're a people person. Yeah, but there are a number of causes, right? Like this is one of them. Nonprofits have lobbyists. There's at the end of the day, there's just advancing a cause. Some less unsavory, some more unsavory than others.
Well, I was going to invite you up here today to the podcast, but since I'm a cannabis patient, I didn't want to give you a contact high before your election and mess you up. So maybe. Well,
look, Lefty, we talked. I probably went to the Ivy League school that's probably the most cannabis friendly, Brown. It's not called green, as you say, but
yeah, they should have called it green then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Oh man. and you did very well in Brown. You're just an amazing person. I really think that you're going to win this election. I think if you get the word out and you get the votes out, I think you're going to win. I really do.
I hope so. And, I think it's going to be a broad coalition of voters and, and issues. And this is an issue that matters to people in South Jersey. I'm going to continue to be vocal about it. It matters to our economy. It matters to our equality. And it's just the right thing to do.
Before I let you go, Will for SouthJersey.com, can you give just a pitch on why people should vote for you in District 2? Yeah.
If you believe that we need to have representatives who are real people, who are regular people.
Yes.
I'm that. My mom is still an hourly wage worker. She's an essential. Not only that, she's now an essential worker because she works in a liquor store.
Yes.
So I intimately understand working families' issues. But I also have the experience to get things done. Having worked in the Senate and the House, gotten national policy across the table. I think that dual combination, being a real person who understands real people's experiences and having the Capitol Hill experience, it matters. And so, if you believe in that, then I hope you'll donate. If you don't live in our district, I hope you'll donate. If you do, I hope you'll vote for me on July 7th.
Will for SouthJersey.com. Thank you so much.
And if on Facebook, it's Will. You can search for me for Will Cunningham for Congress. Will Cunningham for New Jersey on Facebook. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. We're going to talk more. This has been a great conversation. We'll talk more before July because we're going to see if we can get people out there to vote for you in July, and how can we get people to help with your campaign. And we're going to get this going. We're going to get you elected.
I appreciate that, Lefty, and I'll definitely stay in touch. And hopefully we can maybe do this on the beach. If you can't do it at the State House, maybe we should meet up at the beach. Somewhere
where we can do 6 feet apart. I don't care. Let's do this.
All right. Well, take care.
Well, thank you for being on our podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks,
take care. Stay safe, everyone.
Will for SouthJersey.com on the Ignorance is No Excuse podcast. That's great. We have to get Will in there in office. He's a great guy. As you can see, he pulled himself up by the bootstraps. He's not a silver spoon born person. He was homeless, single mom, homeless, living on the street with a 4.0 grade point average. Come on, man. Come on. That's a guy with no excuses right there. No excuses. I love people with no excuses. Good stuff, man. All right. I actually have a song for you. I'm going to work on it. I've been working on this all night, and I hope you enjoy this. It's the Puff 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 rally on 420. There's no rally on 420. It's rally from home. And I'll explain it to you in a song. I'll make it easy for you. Oh boy, this should be fun. Oh boy, let's try not to embarrass yourself too much, Lefty. Puff, puff, puff. No PPP, this 420. Don't worry, we got you covered, baby. There's no puff, puff pass, but don't you fret. We're gonna give you a fun time you'll never forget. And now we're doing puff, puff, pass. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. On April 20th at 11:11, listening, you're gonna get a slice of heaven. Smoking L to the neck and to the soul. Shove some pizza pie down your old pie hole. Puff and paint from your humble abode. We'll have amazing guest speakers to carry the load. Spirograph your butthole, and if you win, the magical butter machine raffle, you'll go in. CBD and THC, yoga in front of your TV. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff.
Well, people in wheelchairs are going to have fun. We're going to build Lego ramps together as one. After party at guess where? That's right, you're home. Stay at home, people. Ignorance is no excuse podcast will be live on the Sativa Cross page and many others besides. You thought 420 would be swap and spit? Sit at home and take a big bong hit. Governor Murphy said, stay at home if you're sick. Don't go out. Cuomo said, forget about it. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. You thought 420 all month would be a different vibe, but now we're spending it all inside. But there's parties all day on 420, no cover charge. You don't need money. You can party from your couch, light up some trees. You can party with us naked if you so please. Sit on your toilet and drop a big old dump. Just turn off your camera and don't be a chump. Dust off your rigs and get ready to fly. You don't need to be a patient to get high. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. On April 20th at 11:11, listen in, you'll get a slice of heaven. Smoke an L to the neck and to the soul. Shove some pizza pie down your old pie hole.
Yeah, I just sang basically the flyer. So if you don't show up, I'll be mad that I wrote that song for you. So please show up. 420. All you got to do is hit a couple buttons, sit on your couch, and join us. Join us on 420. We're going to have a huge, huge event on 420, virtual 420 event. So please join us and have fun. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. It's going to be a good party. I'm very excited about this. We're going to have a contest. We're going to have a magical butter machine raffle. We got a magical butter machine right here. We'll give it away. We got t-shirts. I'm going to give away a Don't Shoot, I'm Sexy t-shirt. We have stickers. You get a sticker with a t-shirt. And I think we have more stuff for giveaways coming up. So that's going to be good stuff. I'm really excited for 420 this year. So don't fret. It'll be good. Trust us. We're going to have fun. 11/11 is going to be New Jersey. And then on the West Coast, we're doing a nightly show, Sativa Cross West, a night show. So all day long, it's 420, all day long. So enjoy that. Some sad news, really sad news. This is devastating news. I am adding a name to the list, and I hate adding names to this list. But this is a name that we all know. If you are a cannabis patient, you know about Charlotte's Web. It's a high CBD strain that was made for children specifically with epilepsy. And this woman, this girl, Charlotte, was the name that they took her name for this strain because she's a hero. She's been a hero. I've been watching her for years. Charlotte Figge, an epileptic child who became an inspiring symbol of the CBD movement, died Tuesday after a battle with corona-like illnesses. According to her family, she was 13. Figge, whose seizure recovery story... Sorry, I have to just take this down. Figge, whose seizure recovery story gave rise to a medical cannabis oil that drew parents of kids with similar health problems to Colorado for treatment. She suffered a final seizure and cardiac arrest, likely triggered by her sickness. Suffered a final seizure. A final seizure. She had to have that last seizure. Are you serious? Oh, that's hurtful. Her final seizure. That's awful, man. That's just bad. This poor girl, this poor family. Please pray for this family. Please, God, take this girl in your arms and give her family some peace and some rest and some comfort. This is terrible. Charlotte is no longer suffering. She is seizure-free forever, a family friend wrote. Thank you all so much for your love. In a statement to the Denver Post, her mother said the Colorado Springs family got all sick in March. The whole family got sick in March with COVID, and they were told to stay at home. Charlotte was taken to an intensive care unit Friday and treated on a floor for coronavirus patients. A test for the virus that day came back negative, but her mom says she may have been tested too late for a positive result, or too soon. That's me saying too soon, maybe. The 13-year-old was discharged Sunday, but on Tuesday suffered the final seizure. On Tuesday, suffered the final seizure. Wow. Given our family's month-long history with illness, and despite the negative test results, she was treated as a likely COVID case, her mom said in a statement. Her fighting spirit held out as long as it could, and she eventually passed in our arms peacefully. Man. Charlotte was born with Dravet syndrome. The worst kind of epilepsy, pretty much. It's horrible. She wasn't expected to live past the age of 8, and normally kids with Dravet don't live past 18. Her tale of overcoming the catastrophic condition by using the cannabinoid was featured in the documentary Weed, which chronicled the ways the drug helped her. Charlotte's Web, a medical cannabis strain, was eventually named in her honor. So me and Charlotte have something in common. We were both on weed. No, we're seriously. She was on the Weed documentary, and so was our group. So I remember watching her on that Weed group. I've been following her for years. I mean, this girl has been a hero to me for many, many years, and we've crossed paths. I'm not even sure if we might have talked to her parents at some time. I'm not even sure. Before she got sick, Charlotte and her parents' advocacy played a big role in drawing attention to the drug, which is not a psychoactive. Some journeys are long and bland, and others are short and poignant and meant to revolutionize the world. Such was the path chosen by this little girl with a catastrophic form of epilepsy called Dravet syndrome, said Realm of Caring. Oh, hurtful, man. Hurtful. Sorry, Charlotte. So we're going to add her to the list later. This is why we have to help other people, because people like Charlotte needed help. Her family needs help. And there's people that need our help. There's people in wheelchairs. Here, let me show you what we're doing here in New Jersey with wheelchairs. This is the Legos we got. This is an amazing stack of Legos here. Now, you're going to say to me, well, how do you use these in a ramp? Well, you know what? I am going to use these in a ramp, and I'll show you how. I'm going to follow Grandma's recipe. Grandma Lego has a recipe. I'm going to follow it to the T. However, when I build this ramp, it's going to go up and up and up and up and up. Can you see that? Yeah. So what I want to do is here, I'm going to put alcoves on the ends, little holes. And in those alcoves, I'm going to put all these crazy little weird things like that. Here, if I do a basketball court or something like that, we'll put a basket in there. Or like the first place we're doing is a pizza place. We're doing right now San Vito's Pizza in Bayonne. We're building them a 7-inch ramp. If I can find some pizza or a pizza Lego, I'm going to put a piece of pizza inside the side of the ramp and glue it in there, just to make it different. Grandma Lego, if you saw her stuff, she's doing fancy stuff. She has so many Legos that she doesn't know what to do with, because now she has color coordination. She's making beautiful pictures on the ramps. They're actually incredible. Grandma Lego is absolutely incredible. We're going to have her on the show soon. I got a person to translate German because Grandma Lego does not speak any English. So we had to get a German translator to help with the translation. Yeah. So that should be great. That'll be next week. And in 2 weeks, we have Vermin Supreme. Presidential candidate Vermin Supreme will be on the show in 2 weeks. Yes, believe it or not. I can't wait for that one. Okay. Hi, Brian. Oh, Brian Goldberg, thank you for the Legos. Karen Ackerman, thank you for the Legos. Brian Goldberg just joined our group. So everybody can thank him. If you see him on the psychedelic wheelchair group, thank Brian for the Legos. And he's given us 200 more pounds. 200 more pounds of Legos we're getting. Yeah, seriously. So that's cool. And let's see. See, now it works. Now my phone works. It doesn't work for our congressional candidate. Hurtful. Hello?
Hurtful.
Phones are working. Thanks for that.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's good. Let me turn off my washer.
You're on the air.
I'm on the air. Hey.
So when you saw the hot dog truck, how'd that make you feel?
Like I probably should cry or something.
It's amazing.
That was. I was speechless. My mouth just dropped, and I just felt like I am doing exactly the right thing. I'm right where I need to be. I'm doing good things, and that was just a confirmation of, okay, go and go. Oh, did I say go?
Oh,
here's another hot dog.
Here's your picture. I got to put your picture up. There you go.
My picture?
Yeah, I forgot to put your picture up there. There's the Honeybee's picture.
Oh, did you get my new ad? I just made a little poster.
Oh, it's dab time. Everybody take a dab. Everybody take a dab. Dab time.
Oh my gosh, you fucking dick.
So
are you serious right now?
We were talking.
You take that down. You're such
That's a great picture. It's relevant.
Yeah, it's just very. Yeah, I know. I did that on purpose. You're the best, aren't you? Now put my other one up.
It's a great picture.
Oh
no, that's never changing. It's a forever picture.
Oh, wow. You couldn't wait for that, right?
I couldn't wait to put that one up.
You're like, I need to call her first. Oh wait, I can't. She's last. That's great. I'm so proud of you. Good job.
Want to be my friend?
Are you dying right now? Can you breathe? Can you breathe? Okay, talk to you tomorrow.
Let me just back it up a little bit here.
Let me zoom out.
We were talking about feeding the homeless here on the East Coast, and my friend Juan Galloway has a food truck that it's called the New York City Relief Bus, and he goes around to homeless people with a huge food truck. And he just feeds people, and he prays with them. Feed and pray, feed and pray. It's the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. And now you're starting to do that because you have a hot dog truck sitting there in your backyard, and you're going to have it welded and fixed up, but it's just sitting there. So when I got the first set of Legos came with some pot leaves. Here, I got a bunch of pot leaves. I was like, oh, that's a coincidence. That's God's giving me a message. The second set of Legos came with a hot dog cart, with a little hot dog inside and hot dogs, and it's just the coolest thing ever. So, yeah, God has a sense of humor.
I didn't tell you this. I didn't tell you this. I had a fellow cannabis activist call me and say, my son is a welder. He will weld your hot dog cart. Can you haul it to him? And I said, yes, I just happened to get a hitch. So yeah, I can. So that happened today too.
Well, there you go.
And then, well, researching hot dogs and homeless, or I did a Google search, and there actually is a nonprofit back east, and it's hotdogsforthehomeless.com. So I've reached out. I actually made a phone call, left a message to the coordinator for that organization over there, and I hope that she calls me back. Well, I'm going to follow it up with an email, so she's just going to hear me. Because I would love to, get help. Maybe be an extension of what they do, because then it would just already be done. But I was going to spell mine a little bit different to go with the hot dog cart. It's going to be HAWT and then dog DAWG, because that's what's on the cart already. So that's why I thought of the name, and then someone else had it. But that is so cool.
Amazing.
We got a menu. We got what we have. I don't know what we'll do.
What are you going to do? Hot dogs and empanadas or something? Or just hot dogs?
Just a hot dog. But what they do in for the other organization is they give a hot dog, some chips, a cookie, water, and then they put they wrap a napkin around some condiments, and then they put a rubber band around that, and then give that in a bag, a paper sack. And then what they do is they have the volunteers, the families, the mom, dads, the kids. They draw hot dogs on the bags, and then they give out the little hot dog lunch. So that I thought that was cute. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something creative, and I don't know if it's going to be fresh right there or give it in a little sack lunch like that.
CBD hot dogs?
I was thinking that because I was going to talk to my friend, Chef Matt Cooks, that has a CBD line, and see if we can somehow incorporate that with a hot dog.
That wasn't me. That was Seth. Seth, I sent you a friend request, Seth. Seth, I sent you a friend request a year ago. Please friend request me. Please answer my friend request,
God.
Seth. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Who
is that?
Just saying. I see Seth a lot. I don't know where he's from. I see him a lot. I see we're orbiting each other a lot lately, and I'm like, just friend me, dude. Just friend me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you can change my picture to my new one I gave you.
I don't have
about my podcast.
I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do that.
How'd you put my picture up there with toilet paper?
You'll get more flies with honey this way.
I want people to watch my show.
People watch you.
Yours is in the morning and mine's in the evening. Isn't that perfect?
It's going to be awesome.
Then that gives you time to be on my show.
Yes, I'm excited.
All right. So
can
you rewrite that song and just add Sativa Across West?
And I know Payback's a bitch. I don't want to know what kind of picture you're going to put up of me. But hopefully you don't know how to do that yet. So it's good.
Well, you know what? Even if I have to put it right by the camera, I print it out and staple it onto the wall, I will.
Staple it up.
I will get a picture up there. I'll go the redneck way. You might be redneck.
You're not going to top this one.
If you staple your picture on the wall of the guest.
You cannot top this picture. This is the funniest picture ever. So
no, I can top
Good
that
luck.
picture.
Good luck with that.
Oh, yeah. You should be careful with that.
Oh, wait. Never mind.
Yeah, that's funny. Funny story.
Oh, by the way, while we're speaking about that, we are doing butthole art at the State House. So if you have a butthole picture, you want to take a spirograph or a flower, paint a flower around your butthole, send it in to us on an email or whatever on the page, and you can win a raffle to be on the Magical Butter raffle, and a shirt and a sticker and something else we're giving away too. So yeah, your butthole can actually win you
Cannabis
something.
Paraphernalia.
Your butthole can be a winner. Wouldn't you like your butthole?
And I'm also giving a Magical Butter machine away too.
We got 2 magical magical butter machines. Whoops. Little faux pas there. You know what I
I
mean?
almost just died. I almost just choked.
Magical butthole makes your recipes better.
Magical butthole.
I didn't mean that. Magical butter is the best machine ever. I love these guys. They sent us.
Right.
I have to do a commercial for them now.
Right.
They have literally saved people's lives here in New Jersey. They've given us dozens of machines, given us dozens of machines that we've given away to sick people because we know who the sick people are. We're a patient focused group here from patients for patients. So we know who the sick people are. We know who the poor people are. We know who the people that need it. We know who the people that need tithings are. We know who they are. So you want to give a tithing? Let us know. We'll tell you who to give it to. Not me, not her. No, we know who to give it to, though. We'll tell you. We know. And it's not us. It's other people.
We have a list.
We have a huge list.
We have a list that we don't want to add to our list. Right?
Magical butthole makes your quarantine better.
That's funny. You didn't know you were so funny, did you?
That was Tony.
No, just kidding.
That's Tony.
Oh.
Good one, Tony.
Oh, Tony is funny. All day. Oh, you're funny.
That's great.
That's a really great picture of me.
All right, host a
Oh,
show.
my God. I was scared when you told me that.
Awesome.
Okay, who you calling now?
No, host a show. I'm going to get the Magical Butter song up.
Oh, well, so I'm going to have my podcast on 420 as well, and I have a lot of guests. And Eddie Left is going to be on there, and I was thinking we're going to have a Munchie Minute.
Eddie Lepp?
Yes.
Who's that?
He's from LA. He's from California. Oh, really? You don't know about him?
Tell us. Some of us don't know.
Well, he got arrested for having a lot of cannabis plants and sent to prison. And then was released after it was legal. And now he does a podcast that he's getting paid money for. That at some time, we're going to be, working together a little more closely. But, with everything that's going on, everything has just been delaying that partnership. So he's going to be a guest on my show. He has his own podcast as well. He's on YouTube, Eddie Left. And so he's going to be on there. I'm going to try to get some other of my friends that I know to be on the show. Some singers. Jay Louie's going to be on there. That's Jose. He's going to sing. And he's also going to cook with cannabis, cooking with cannabis. And we're going to have you on the show, Lefty Grimes. I'm going to do art, painting rocks. I've decided that I'm going to paint rocks and then I'm going to go put them out on the trails for people to find, along with all the other 100 million things I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm pretty excited because you're going to have to tune into our Facebook in order to see our guests. We're going to have different singers. We're going to go and see how many states we can, access through this virtual online 420 party. We're Denver, Colorado, Washington, back east. Didn't you say overseas or something? Someone, John Small or something? Where's he from? Ireland?
Let's call John from Cannabusted.
Yeah, we need to contact him first and then give him a time slot. So it's, we can advertise. Featuring John Small at 7:10. 20. I was going to say 20. 7:10. Yeah.
John Small, he's so talented.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. I can't wait to help you with yours, and then you can help me with mine. I'm missing a couple cords I can't find yet, so I got to go out to the shed and find the other cords.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Really?
Really.
Hey, what's this?
What are you doing?
This is John Small. Can you hear this?
Not really loud.
Hold on.
Wayne was in the van. He was stopped by the man. He was busted.
Can you hear it?
Carolyn Lodi was just getting
Not too well.
She was busted.
Now I have echo.
And Ed from down south, he was running his mouth. The police all came in and ransacked his house. All because of a rat on the couch. He was busted.
Can you hear it now?
They were busted.
Kind of busted. This is John Small, everybody. This is great.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony and Summit had some tainted glass. He was busted.
I'm trying to find the other song he did, though.
Lefty was in Linden.
He was being an ass.
He was busted.
He does another one I want to hear.
David from Keyport, when he took all his
He's pretty good.
He's awesome.
took all his stuff,
Very creative.
stole all his cash.
Like you.
While Mike was on
That song
the
was
kept
hilarious.
his head beat bash. They were busted. They were busted.
Kind of busted.
Grayson had the scone. The cops took a wheelchair. She was busted. She had to shit into a bucket because they didn't care. She was busted. When Jessie was growing some weed in her home, they spent time and money while you're tapping her phone. They took Jeremy. Now Joanne's all alone. They were busted. They were busted.
Kind of busted.
When I first
They were busted. Kinda busted.
I'd like to play a song now. John Small. Good stuff, John Small. What is this?
Saw this part.
Why
I
is
thought
there a
we kinda-
commercial on my thing
That was
here?
great.
Horrible commercial. I hate when they
What do you
that to
mean?
me. Here we go. Oh.
Oh, my.
Wow, that's super loud.
Now we're all deaf.
Sorry about that. See, what I like to do is put up Jeff Sessions' picture, but I don't have that right now. Well, I don't want to sing a song before we go home. But all the towns in New Jersey where you can't get no weed. That's right. Keep your patchouli at home, you damn hippies. Keep your wheelchairs at home and keep that cancer at home. We don't want to see that. Well, you can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your cancer home, dear. You can't get no weed. Barnegat, Berkeley, Bridgeton, Ridgewater, Brigantine, Carlstadt, Chatham, Clifton, Cranberry, East Rutherford, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Fairhaven, Freehold, Garfield, Hasbrook Heights, Hawthorne, Lavalette, Lodi, Jamesburg, Hazlitt, Mawa. You can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your cancer home, dear. You can't get no weed. And Manville, Mannington, Point Pleasant Beach, Hale-10, Caldwell, Oakland, Oceanport, Ridgewood, Ringwood, Seaside Heights, Seagirt, Shrewsbury, Seacock, Surf City, Spotswood, Upper Freehold, Upper Saddle River Wall, and you can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your diseases home there. You can't get no weed. In Weehawken, West Caldwell, West Long Branch, Westwood, Wyckoff, Woodcliff, Lake, Palisades Park, Palisades Park. There's no wheelchair access in Palisades Park. Oh no.
You can't get no weed here. You can't get no weed here. You can't get no weed here.
Franklin Lakes, Harding, Midland Park, Mansfield, Old Bridge, Old Tappan, Ramsey, Danville, Avalon, Parsippany, Pleasantville, Saddlebrook, Brick, and Union City. You can't get no weed here. You can't get no weed here. Bungholio, you can't get no weed. You can't get no weed. All right, I got that out of my system. I feel better now.
Okay, that's good.
I feel better. I just had to get that out of my system.
All right.
We changed.
Okay, good.
We changed a lot with that song. That stupid song has actually changed hearts and minds of people.
It really has.
That stupid song has done more for. Oh my goodness! Yeah, with a singing bong. We go to council meetings with an 8-foot bong. Who does that?
You do.
Mikey V does that. That's who. Mikey V does art and activism. And art and activism is what Mikey V does. And that's what we're doing here.
Great guy.
See this here? This is all going to be art and activism right here with Legos. So Mikey V, you've inspired me to do some more art and activism. Thank you. All right.
Yes. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mikey.
I'm excited for my song.
I thought we had a John Small song, but I can't find it, so I'm just gonna skip it. I thought I saved it. This is why I need a producer to help me, so I don't lose stuff. I've lost John Small's song, which I was gonna play today. Was it this? No.
Wow.
Damn. Oh well. That's right. You got our song. What'd you think of that song from before? The commercial. That wasn't bad, right?
I thought it was really good. I can't wait for it to say Sativa Cross West. Oh, I just I'm pretty excited for my show. I'm gonna have a little, gathering, keeping the 6 feet social distancing in mind at my house. I could just line people up around the yard, and we could get some way to, we're just gonna puff, puff, puff. Everyone has to bring their own joint, smoke their own joint.
That's right. There's no puff, puff, pass.
Yes, it's puff, puff, puff.
Puff, puff, puff.
6 feet away.
Smoke to the neck.
Yep. Or online, just puff, puff, puff. That's funny.
It's good stuff. See, leave it to stoners to figure it out.
I don't know how I do it.
Yeah. Just let us brainstorm for a while and we'll figure it out. So now we got no puff, puff, pass. We got puff, puff, puff. Enjoy yourselves. It's going to be
puff, 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 because we can't pass.
It'll be fun. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to this. By the way,
really
I just want to mention today is Holy Thursday. It's a very important day for a lot of Christians around the world.
Oh. Well, you know what? I'm wearing holy pants. Does that count?
Yeah, wear holy pants. That helps.
Okay.
Hopefully,
okay.
You're being holy.
Lots of holes in my pants. That's good. I didn't know I was so religious. Oh, I didn't tell you. I'm going to sew some masks. I have some cannabis fabric, and I'm going to sew cannabis fabric masks. So if anyone wants one, hit me up.
I'd like to try that, but you have to make it very tightly wound, very high thread count with hemp.
Well, it's fabric, and it has a cannabis leaf on it.
That's all we need.
From what I already had. So I have a great idea. I have a sewing machine, and I have fabric, and I have 2 hands, so I can do it. Even if I didn't have 2 hands, I still would do it. But, just saying. Oh, my gosh. You know what? One of the things that I thought of for my nonprofit to help the homeless, one of the things that they need help with is garbage. So if you can't help clean up the garbage, you can at least give them a bag to put the garbage in.
Yeah, give them a hygiene kit, and in that hygiene kit, you put some trash bags.
Yeah, add trash bags to those whatever you're giving. because they could use a trash bag for several different things, to pick up garbage, to keep their stuff safe from the weather, from the rain. So it's kind of like a tote, you know, a soft tote, you know, because they have important stuff that needs to stay, you know, dry. And it will also keep them dry. It could be like a little mini tent, you know, keep them out of the weather. I mean, I don't suggest to, you know, die in there, but I mean, you know, they could do something to, you know, be waterproof. So I went to Walmart and they had all these garbage bags for 50 cents on clearance. So with my Easter dinner that I'm going to give out, I'm giving out Easter dinner. I'm going to give them a garbage bag. And I just so happened to get 42 garbage bags, and I got 40 to-go containers. So I'm good.
Oh, Marina wants that song at the end of her PC TV show. Okay, me too. Me too, Marina.
What song? What song?
You can't get no weed. I'm gonna host a show at the Piscataway TV. I'm not sure if I should be announcing that, but I'm gonna help host a show anyway, and I'm gonna help support them when we get out of this quarantine anyway. So I'm looking forward to that, Marina.
Oh really? Oh really? Now you're just telling me this?
I forgot.
Really?
Branching out.
So what are you doing?
I'm guest hosting. Remember Princeton TV with Ken Wolski?
Yes.
I'm going to be Ken Wolski.
Oh, on that same Princeton?
No, at Piscataway TV, and I'm going to have to take a shower and put a tie on again. So,
oh no!
Asking a lot from me in the quarantine.
Oh.
Who's taking showers? Do you take a shower every day in the quarantine?
Yes, I do.
Some of you don't. Some of y'all don't. I know some of y'all don't. I know it. So, you ain't fooling me. Just saying.
Oh, I do.
No judgment. No judgment. Grace wins. Grace wins.
So we're giving away magical butter machines?
Giving away magical butter machines. We're giving away T-shirts. We're giving away stickers. All kinds of stuff.
Who are some of your guests?
I believe we have Chris Goldstein. I believe I asked him. Bill Caruso, Leo Bridgewater, Ed Fortune.
Oh, you haven't talked to him for a long time, Leo.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
Great. I talked to him offline. He's great. Ed Fortune, Joanne Zito, Ken Wolski, Jim Miller, Rich Morawski, Tracy McHugh, Jamie. Who else?
Talk to all those people?
We're going to have them all on the show on 420.
Oh, because you're doing it all day until mine, and then mine's all night?
No, it's going to be a regular show, but we're going to fit everyone in. It's going to be great.
Your regular show is like 20 hours long.
No, it's a regular show.
What is a regular show, Lefty? Do you even know what regular means?
I forgot. We haven't. Oh,
what?
Hold on. Host a show. Ready to go.
Okay. Why would I host the show? Oh, actually, I need to practice for my show, which is fine. So what's going to be really cool is you guys can link into our Facebook pages, and then you can see the guests that we call, and they're going to be really cool. I'm going to do like some cocktails with cannabis. I'm going to make some, and I'm going to make a simple syrup, and we're going to make a cocktail. I just recently read an article about the 10 reasons why gin is beneficial to your health. So apparently gin is very beneficial for you to live longer, have less wrinkles. It helps with your digestive system.
Okay,
it helps with it helps with your stress. It helps you to be more funny. No, just kidding. I just added that one in. That's funny. And so I was thinking I was going to think of a recipe with gin for a cannabis infused cocktail. I may even do like a couple different drinks. So do like a non-alcoholic drink, like a tea or a vinegar drink. Do you like vinegar drinks?
Nope.
No? Why? Why is that?
Why would I drink vinegar?
Vinegar is so good for you.
I put it on my salad.
You know, like apple cider vinegar.
I do a shot, not a whole glass.
It doesn't taste like vinegar. It's like really amazing. Anyways, you know, I was thinking to make like a vinegar drink with some edible flowers and cannabis. So, you know, that's an idea. So have like cooking show where he's doing an entree. We're going to do like a drink with alcohol, drink without, and painting rocks.
I like the rock painting. That's kind of cool.
Did you see my rocks?
Yeah, I did.
Post them.
Yeah, you should take pictures and post them and have people do rocks. There's a lot of things people can do from home, like wheelchair ramps. You can build a wheelchair ramp from home. If you want to do that, let me know. I'll send you the blueprint. We need to talk because it's not like you could just put them together. There's a certain way to do it. You have to glue them together. You have to use this special glue right here. Whoops. This special glue. This is marine glue. You have to glue them together with glue.
You have to glue them together with glue?
Stick them together with glue. Whatever.
Okay, terrific.
That's funny. What are you doing exactly?
I'll show you. Listen. Oh God.
I'll show you. Listen.
I'll show you. Hang on.
I'm trying to hang on. I don't know why my laptop. Oh, my laptop's dead, so I can't see what you're doing.
Hurtful.
Okay, terrific.
Hurtful. Hurtful. Why do they put commercials on these songs I got to do?
Oh my. Oh yeah. There you go.
Dragonfly Health, get your recommendation. Dragonfly Health for your condition. Dragonfly Health, get your prescription. Dragonfly Health for a consultation. Thinking about some cannabis, yeah. I got hurt and I needed some help, so I headed to Turnersville. Dragonfly Health, get your recommendation. Dragonfly Health for your condition. Dragonfly Health, get your prescription. Dragonfly Health for a consultation. The best care that you'll ever get. You'll feel you're among friends. Eight 856-341-9758. 856-341-9758. 856-341-9758. 856-341-9758.
Hey, darling.
856-341-9758.
Hey, darling.
856-341-9758.
Hey, darling.
Dialing. Be dialing. Be dialing. Be dialing. 856-341-9758. Be dialing. Dragonfly Health, get your recommendation. Dragonfly Health for your condition. Dragonfly Health for your prescription. Dragonfly Health for a consultation. Dragonfly Health, get your prescription. Dragonfly Health for your condition. Dragonfly Health, get your recommendation. Dragonfly Health for a consultation. 856-341-9758. 856-341-9758. 856-341-9758. 856-341-9758. Yeah. See, now, all I want you to do is to remember that number. And now that number's in your head. 856-341-9758. Be dialing. Yeah, it's
Right,
in. Sorry. Sorry for your luck.
No, sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm in your head now.
Oh, you funny.
All right. Where were we? Oh,
Are you ending the show?
yeah. Storms come to clear your path, God. And on the back of it, it says, rock God. Rock God. Rock. Rock on, God.
Oh, really? For my rocks?
Yes.
Oh, what?
cmmnj.org, sativacross.com, magicalbutter.com, UFCW Local 152, davidversusautism.org, medical-freedom.com, thefallingsickness.com, newjerseyweedman.com, New Jersey Grannies for Grass, jacksonstorms.com, Arlo Glass, oprahdmachine.com, Pure Puff Vapor Supply, and dragonflyhealthcenter.com. And Sativa Cross West, who was having a big party on 420.
I sure am. 7:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Oh, that's right. Pacific time. So it's actually 10:10 here in Jersey.
Yes.
So we're going to start you off in the morning, and then the West Coast will finish off at night at 10 o'clock.
But you know, I think I might start at 4:20. I need to start at 4:20 on 4:20. Don't I?
It's your world. We're just living in it.
I mean, well, that's good. So I just changed my mind. I need to start.
That was quick. Wow. All
well,
right.
You know, okay, perfect.
Okay, terrific.
So what's the point of having a 420 party if I'm not like smoking a big fat joint at 420? Duh.
That sounds
Okay,
good.
so yeah, mine's gonna start before 420. As soon as I don't want to start at 11:11.
All right. So
That'd be way early.
it'll be 7:20 here in Jersey. That's cool. That works.
That's funny. If I started at 11:10 and then that's 7:10 your time. No. I can't do that, obviously.
Oh, boy.
So stay tuned and watch Honeybee. I sent you a little promo of my face. Did you get it?
No. God. This list sucks. It's hurtful.
Oh, yes.
It's hurtful.
Every time.
Hurtful.
There's not ever one time where it doesn't hurt.
It hurts. It really hurts. This poor girl, Charlotte, was my hero. I followed this poor girl around for years on her journey. And just to see this happen to her, it's just brutal. I don't even know what to say. I just... just pray for her and her family. But she's on our list, and I'm going to say it again at the end here. But our list begins with Cheryl Miller, Sabina Rose, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Polly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Joanne's husband, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony,
Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Terry, and now Charlotte's on our list. Charlotte
Poor
Figgy.
thing. What day did she pass?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Poor
Terrible.
girl.
So I'm going to turn the show over to you, Honeybee, because the last name on our list belongs to you.
That would be my son, Michael Dillon, who passed away from a seizure. He had grand mal seizures, and they started when he was 12 years old. And he passed away 5 years ago, March 5th. So I have devoted myself to help people with seizures or other medical ailments that cannabis helps them feel better. So with that, I'm here doing my part. I'm here to educate and help and donate my time and services to different things, like the homeless people. I can do a nonprofit where in Oregon, the growers can donate up to like a certain percentage of their grow to a nonprofit organization. So what I'm doing with our nonprofit, one of our projects would be helping cannabis patients that have like stage 4 cancer or something where they really need the strong FICO, the fully extract cannabis oil, or what is it?
Yeah.
Now, is that it?
FICO.
FICO or RSO, Rick Simpson oil. So we would donate that to someone in need, but you have to have a nonprofit in order to, benefit that from growers. But, if you can't do that, give 10%, give a tithing to someone in need, because people who need cannabis have to pay full price. They haven't made cannabis medical prices, even though it's deemed medically usable, or we call it medicine. We don't pay for it like it really is medicine. It's like fake medicine. I don't know what they're thinking. So we can't pay like $10 to get like an ounce, but maybe in Oregon. So it's not really funny, but people do need help, because if they're sick, they can't have a job and they need help and they can't afford it. And cannabis for my son, he didn't have very many side effects when he used cannabis. But when he used pharmaceuticals for his seizures, he had all kinds of side effects, and he really didn't like it. So there's a lot of times that he would try to skip taking his medicine, but I caught on to that real fast, and I would say, "You take this pill." But because cannabis wasn't always available, you have to try something. My son's having seizures, you got to do a mixture, try to figure it out. So give 10% tithing to someone in need, and keep on watching us, like us and share us. And if you want to donate to our cause, we have a website, Vote Cannabis 2020. You can donate to our nonprofit. We'll
.com.
420, or wow, I said that way wrong.
VoteCannabis2020.com.
Yes, and you can donate to us, and that's going to go to us being able to get cannabis for medical prices, because we're going to, get all this out and dealt with, so we can really treat cannabis like it's really the medicine that it is. So hashtag Vote Cannabis 2020. And then our old hashtag they shall grow. And that comes from the ode that Lefty, will you start out with?
Hashtag they shall grow. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. Cheers to another great show. Thank you, Lefty.
Cool. Thank you.
Go Team Sativa Cross.
Go team. Cool. So cool.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. You thought your month of 420 would be a lot different, didn't you? Yeah, I know. You said, boy, a whole month of 420. Oh, this should be great. Hee. I guess not. No, it's still going to be fun. Watch, you'll see. We got big plans for you guys. Big plans. We're going to have a huge 420 sesh all day long, worldwide, morning, noon, and night. You can sit home from your couch and get your couch locked from your couch with all your other friends on couches getting couch locked with you. It's a different world, but we'll adapt. Our very Chris Smith. It's a one. Hot dog truck is amazing. That's a person in a hot dog suit with hot dogs in a hot dog cart. Come on, man. Come on. That is just great. So thank you, Karen Ackerman and Brian Goldberg. I am just covered with Legos here. I can't even do a podcast. There's so many Legos here. This is, oh man. And yes, this is a Lego. This pot leaf, these pot leaves are Lego pot leaves. Yeah, just in case you can't see, these are Lego pot leaves. Come on, man. What? Come on, man. Yeah. They love this idea. I go. All right. That's not good. Are we on here? Yes, we're connected. 12 minutes. All right.
Monday through Friday over on
You're on the air. It's Lefty. How are you, buddy? We're connected. All right. We can do it the hard way if we have to, but I don't want to do it that way. We should be able to hear it. Well, if you can hear me, hold on. Hold on. I got audio issues here as usual. Ugh, hurtful. Hold on. Got to do it the old-fashioned way. Will, can you hear me? Hey, Will, you're on the air. It's Lefty. How are you, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. This is Will Cunningham. You're running for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District. Damn it! And you're running against who you running against?
Like if you've
Maybe.
Well, look, Lefty, we talked.
Show up. I'll be mad that I wrote toilet and drop a big old
Bode will have amazing gift.
We'll take care.
Will, thank you for being on our podcast. Thank you so much.
Puff. Puff.
All right. I actually have a song for you. I'm going to work on that. I've been working on this all night, and I hope you enjoy this. It's the Puff 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 rally on 420. There's no rally on 420. It's rally from home. And I'll explain it to you in a song. I'll make it easy for you. Oh boy, this should be fun. Oh boy, let's try not to embarrass yourself too much, Lefty.
Puff, puff, puff. No PPP this 420. Don't worry, we got you covered, baby. There's no puff, puff pass, but don't you fret. We're gonna give you a fun time you'll never forget. And now we're doing puff, puff, pass. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. On April 20th at 11:11, listen in, you're gonna get a slice of heaven. Smoking L to the neck and to the soul. Shove some pizza pie down your old pie hole. Puff and paint from your humble abode. We'll have amazing guest speakers to carry the load. Spirograph your butthole, and if you win, the magical butter machine raffle, you'll go in. CBD and THC, yoga in front of your TV. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Well, people in wheelchairs are going to have fun. We're going to build Lego ramps together as one. After party at guess where? That's right, your home. Stay at home, people. Ignorance is no excuse podcast will be live on the Sativa Cross page and many others besides. You thought 420 would be swap and spit? Sit at home and take a big bong hit. Governor Murphy said, stay at home if you're sick. Don't go out. Cuomo said, forget about it. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. You thought 420 all month would be a different vibe, but now we're spending it all inside. But there's parties all day on 420, no cover charge. You don't need money. You can party from your couch, light up some trees. You can party with us naked if you so please. Sit on your toilet and drop a big old dump. Just turn off your camera and don't be a chump. Dust off your rigs and get ready to fly. You don't need to be a patient to get high. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. Puff, puff, puff. On April 20th at 11:11, listen in, you'll get a slice of heaven. Smoke an L to the neck and to the soul. Shove some pizza pie down your old pie.
So, yeah, I just sang basically the flyer. So if you don't show up, I'll be mad that I wrote that song for you. So please show up. 420. All you got to do is hit a couple buttons, sit on your couch, and join us. Join us on
suffered a final seizure. Suffered a final seizure. Figgy, an epileptic child who became I am adding a name to the list, and I hate adding names to this list. But this is a name that we all know. If you are a cannabis patient, you know about Charlotte's Web. It's a high CBD strain that was made for children specifically with epilepsy. So me and Charlotte have something in common, just to make it different.
Oh my gosh, you fucking dick.
So
Are you serious right now?
We were talking.
You take that down. You're such
That's a great picture.
a...
It's relevant.
Yeah, it's just very. Yeah, I did that on purpose. You're the best, aren't you? Now put my other one up.
It's a great picture.
Oh.
No, that's never changing. It's a forever picture. Just to make it different. Such was the path chosen by this little girl with that time.
Oh my gosh, you fucking. My mouth just dropped and.
Congressional candidate. Hurtful. Hello?
Hurtful.
Phones are working. Thanks for that.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's good. Let me turn off my washer.
You're on the air.
I can.
Galloway.
A nap.
So to the neck.
Oh.
Level on horse. That's right. Keep your patchouli at home, you damn hickeys. Keep your wheelchairs at home and keep that cancer at home. We don't want to see that. Well, you can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your cancer home, dear. You can't get no weed. Barnegat, Berkeley, Bridgeton, Ridgewater, Brigantine, Crosstad, Chatham, Clifton, Cranberry, East Rutherford, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Fairhaven, Freehold, Garfield, Hasbrook Heights, Hawthorne, Lavalette, Lodi, Jamesburg, Hazlitt, Mawa. You can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your cancer home, dear. You can't get no weed. Manville, Mannington, Point Pleasant Beach, Hale-10, Caldwell, Oakland, Oceanport, Ridgewood, Ringwood, Seaside Heights, Seagirt, Shrewsbury, Seacock, Surf City, Spotswood, Upper Freehold, Upper Saddle River Wall, and way you can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your diseases home there. You can't get no weed. In Weehawken, West Caldwell, West Long Branch, Westwood, Wyckoff, Woodcliff, Lake, Palisades Park, Palisades Park. There's a wheelchair access in Palisades Park. Oh no. You can't get no weed here. 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 Keep your wheelchairs home, dear. You can't get no weed. Chester, Franklin Lakes, Harding, Midland Park, Mansfield, Old Bridge, Old Tappan, Ramsey, Danville, Avalon, Parsippany, Pleasantville, Saddlebrook, Brick, and Union City. You can't get no weed here. You can't get no weed here. Bungholio in the house. You can't get no weed here. Keep your patchouli home, dear. You can't get no weed. You can't get no weed. All right, I got that out of my system. I feel better now.
Okay, that's good.
I feel better. I just had to get that out of my system.